Hello, everyone. I'm Louis.
I'm Sarah. Today we are going to talk about the most common thing in life, bacteria.
Bacteria are different from common animals. Many animals can be found in ancient murals, but bacteria have never appeared in human history.
Yes, if you think about it carefully, it is true.
Because since the birth of civilization, we have never seen bacteria. It was not until 1683 that Dutch microscopist Leeuwenhoek first observed bacteria using a single-lens microscope designed by himself, which was magnified about 200 times. But more than a century after Leeuwenhoek observed bacteria, no one has seen them again. We usually cannot observe bacteria because bacteria are very small. The smallest known bacteria is only 0.2 microns long. The largest bacteria in the world can be seen directly with the naked eye. It is 0.2 to 0.6 millimeters in size. It is a bacterium called Namibian thiomargin.
Even if you see this kind of bacteria, you don't know it is a bacteria.
Yes, so it's not that we haven't seen bacteria, but we don't recognize it when we see it. Not all bacteria need to be observed with a microscope.
So how did the name bacteria come from?
The name of bacteria is related to their shape. The term bacteria was first proposed by German scientist Ehrenberg in 1828. The original word bacteria is the New Latin, which is the plural form of bacterium. It is Latinized from the Greek word beta alpha kappa tau omicron nu, bacterium. It means little stick because the bacteria discovered at the beginning were rod-shaped. In fact, bacteria have other shapes. Most bacteria are the following three categories. Bacilli are rod-shaped. Cocci are spherical, such as streptococci or staphylococci. Spirilla are spiral-shaped. There is also a special type, Vibrio, which is comma-shaped.
Based on their response to oxygen, most bacteria can also be divided into the following three categories. Aerobic bacteria, which can only grow in the presence of oxygen. Anaerobic bacteria, on the contrary, can only grow in the absence of oxygen, and there is also a type called facultative anaerobes, which can grow in both aerobic and anaerobic environments.
So, bacteria can survive in most conditions and in large numbers. Such tiny bacteria are widely distributed in soil and water. There are about 5 by 10, 30 bacteria in the world. Their biomass is far greater than the total number of cells in all the plants and animals in the world. If they were laid end-to-end, they would be 10 billion light-years long, from here to the edge of the visible universe, to be exact. Bacteria live in symbiosis with other organisms. We humans carry a lot of bacteria. Like all animals, humans carry a lot, about 10 trillion to 100 trillion, of bacteria. There are 10 times more bacterial cells in our bodies than human cells.
With all these bacteria, we don't get sick.
So bacteria, and we live in symbiosis. The number of bacteria is due to their super fast reproduction. Bacteria divide very quickly, about every tens of minutes. So in just 1 hour, 2 to 3 generations are produced. Pseudomonas is a bacterium that lives in the ocean. It takes only 10 minutes for it to be born and reproduce. Theoretically, a single cell can reproduce more than 1 billion offspring in 5 hours. Due to the amazing reproduction speed, it may cause insufficient nutrients and excessive metabolic waste, which will hinder the growth of bacteria and even cause death.
Just like wine that needs to be fermented often fails, the main reason is that a large number of bacteria in the wine barrel die, so that the wine cannot continue to ferment.
Bacteria are so widespread that they even establish permanent camps in the cells of our bodies. Mitochondria are the power plants that provide energy for almost every cell in the body. They are the descendants of bacteria that were swallowed by larger microorganisms billions of years ago.
Mitochondria provide us with energy.
Yes, we usually work out and burn fat depending on the performance of our mitochondria. This is the hypothesis proposed by scientists that the ancestor of eukaryotes swallowed a bacterium of the alpha proteobacteria phylum and became the later mitochondria, or hydrogenosomes. Later, some organisms that already had mitochondria swallowed organisms similar to cyanobacteria to form chloroplasts, which later evolved into algae and plants. In addition, some algae may also swallow other algae for endosymbiosis, a hypothesis called secondary endosymbiosis. During the evolution of humans, we also swallowed bacteria as a way to enhance organ function. There are more than 1,000 species of bacteria in the normal intestinal flora of the human body, which help intestinal immunity, synthesize vitamins such as folic acid, vitamin K and biotin, convert sugar into lactic acid, and ferment complex indigestible carbohydrates. The presence of this intestinal flora can also inhibit the growth of potential pathogens, so these beneficial bacteria are sold as probiotic dietary supplements. Almost all animals, including humans, rely on bacteria for survival, because only bacteria and some archaea have the genes and enzymes necessary to synthesize vitamin B12 and provide vitamin B12 through the food chain. Vitamin B12 is a water-soluble vitamin that participates in the metabolism of every cell in the human body. It is a cofactor in DNA synthesis and fatty acid and amino acid metabolism. It plays an important role in myelin synthesis and is particularly important for the normal functioning of the nervous system. Bacteria are not only numerous, but also widely distributed. They can survive not only in places where humans live, but also in some extreme environments. These types of bacteria can thrive in extreme environments, such as hot springs and even radioactive waste, and they are classified as extremophiles. For example, those that live in hot springs, geysers, submarine hydrothermal vents, and ocean crust are called thermophiles. One of the most famous types of thermophiles is Thermatoga marittima, which was discovered by scientists in an underwater volcano in Italy. Some live in the Dead Sea and the Great Salt Lake, called halophiles. There are also those that live in acidic or alkaline environments, called acidophiles and alkalophiles. There are also those that live in alpine glaciers, called cold-loving bacteria. In submarine volcanoes and cold springs, bacteria generate energy from hydrogen sulfide and methane. Bacteria also live in space. The name of this bacterium is Bacillus subtilis, which was found to live on a launched satellite. In extremely arid areas, these bacteria have capsules formed by polysaccharides outside their cell walls, forming a cover or envelope. The capsule helps bacteria stay dormant during the dry season and can store food and process waste. In 2006, an exploration at a gold mine in South Africa discovered bacteria living nearly 2 miles underground. They survive on the energy released by radioactive rocks. This bacteria is called radioresistant Deinococcus. On March 17, 2013, researchers discovered bacteria in the Mariana Trench, about 11 kilometers deep. There is 1,200 atmospheres of pressure here, which is an extremely high pressure. These bacteria include Moritella and Shewanella. You can find them everywhere. Their adaptability is much stronger than you think. They can survive anywhere.
This is why there are so many bacteria.
Yes, look at the endangered animals in the world. Most of them are because they are not adapted to the environment.
What do all these bacteria eat?
Bacteria have many different metabolic methods. Some bacteria only need carbon dioxide as their carbon source and are called autotrophs or self-operators.
These bacteria can help solve greenhouse gas problems and reduce carbon emissions.
That would require a lot of them. Those that get energy from light through photosynthesis are called photoautotrophs. Those that get energy from oxidized compounds are called chemoautotrophs. Those that rely on carbon in the form of organic matter as a carbon source are called heterotrophs. Heterotrophic bacteria need to take inorganic matter from outside the body to survive. If the organic matter is a dead body, they are called saprotrophic. If their organic matter comes from living things, they are called parasites. Autotrophic bacteria can use light energy or chemical energy to synthesize organic nutrients from inorganic matter. Bacteria can be both beneficial and harmful to the environment, humans, and animals. The harm is well known. So how much do you know about the benefits of bacteria? Most bacteria do not cause disease. They live in the air, soil, water, acidic hot springs, radioactive waste, and deep biosphere of the Earth's crust. They play a vital role in many stages of the nutrient cycle by recycling nutrients, breaking down toxic waste and atmospheric nitrogen. Bacteria are often used with yeast and other types of fungi to ferment food. For example, the traditional process of making vinegar is to use acetic acid bacteria, Acetobacter, in the air to turn wine into vinegar. Other foods made by bacteria include bread, cheese, kimchi, soy sauce, vinegar, wine, yogurt, etc. This subverts our cognition. We usually think that forests are the lungs of the earth, and dense green vegetation provides us with oxygen.
But in high latitudes, vegetation withers in winter and cannot provide oxygen. So where does our oxygen come from?
There are about 3 trillion trillion bacteria in the ocean and sea. The main oxygen-producing bacteria are cyanobacteria, which use photosynthesis to produce oxygen. But not all photosynthetic bacteria can make oxygen, such as green sulfur bacteria, green non-sulfur bacteria, purple bacteria, and Escherichia coli. Photoautotrophic bacteria include cyanobacteria, which are the oldest known organisms and may have played an important role in producing oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere. They provide up to 50% of the oxygen that humans breathe. Bacteria can also replace pesticides in biological pest control. This usually involves Bacillus thuringiensis, a gram-positive soil bacterium. Subspecies of this bacteria are used as Lepidoptera-specific insecticides under the trade names Dipel and Thuricide. Due to their specificity, these pesticides are considered environmentally friendly and have little effect on humans, wildlife, pollinators, and most other beneficial insects. In the soil, microorganisms in the rhizosphere fix nitrogen, converting nitrogen gas into nitrogen compounds. This provides a readily available form of nitrogen for many plants that cannot fix nitrogen on their own.
It turns out that bacteria can provide us with more food.
Yes, but research in this area has just begun, and there will definitely be broader applications in the future. Bacteria have an amazing ability to break down a wide range of organic compounds and have been used in waste treatment and bioremediation. Bacteria that can break down hydrocarbons in petroleum are often used to clean up oil spills. After the 1989 Exxon Valdez oil spill, some beaches in Prince William Sound were fertilized in an attempt to encourage the growth of these natural bacteria. These efforts were effective on beaches that were not too heavily covered by oil. Bacteria are also used in the bioremediation of toxic industrial waste. In the chemical industry, bacteria play an important role in the production of enantiomerically pure chemicals used as pharmaceuticals or agrochemicals. The ability of bacteria to degrade a wide range of organic compounds is also often used to clean up pollution, called bioremediation. For example, scientists use methanogens to break down trichloroethylene and tetrachloroethylene pollution in Georgia, USA.
Plastic is an organic matter, right?
Yes. In 2016, scientists in Osaka, Japan, discovered a bacterium called Ideonella sakaiensis. This bacterium was eating plastic bottles outside of recycling facilities. Bacteria usually feed on dead organic matter, but this bacterium feeds on a type of plastic. Plastic bottles are usually made of PET. Scientists studied this bacterium and found that it produces two digestive enzymes to break down plastic. These enzymes can only break down PET plastic, but scientists hope that one day this plastic-eating bacteria can help solve the world's plastic pollution problem. There is a kind of bacteria that can be used as a compass. Magnetotactic bacteria, MTB, are a polyphyletic group of bacteria discovered by Richard P. Blakemore in 1975. They can sense the magnetic field lines of the Earth's magnetic field. To achieve this function, these bacteria have an organelle called a magnetosome to store magnetic crystals.
Can this bacteria really be made into a compass?
That would require a lot of this bacteria. Bacteria have so many benefits, but bacteria are harmful to buildings. Sulfur-oxidizing bacteria are often considered one of the most dangerous bacterial groups for stoneware conservation because they produce sulfuric acid, an inorganic acid that has a strong degradative effect by oxidizing hydrogen sulfide, elemental sulfur, and thiosulfate. In fact, the most dangerous to cultural relics are thiobacillus because they directly oxidize sulfides to sulfates, and their ecological characteristics are conducive to producing more sulfuric acid. Nitrifying bacteria include ammonia-oxidizing bacteria that oxidize ammonia to nitrite and nitrite-oxidizing bacteria that oxidize nitrite to nitric acid, and their metabolic process is called nitrification. Nitrifying bacteria play an important role in the weathering process of stone because nitric acid is produced.
I remember the layer of white lime on the bricks of old houses before. That was the masterpiece of bacteria.
Yes, that's caused by bacteria.
The above is the interesting knowledge about bacteria. Have you learned it? Welcome to Leave a Message and Like. Curiosity is the driving force for progress.
I'm Lewis.
I'm Sarah. See you next time.
See you next time.